Thanks for staying with us. So, in our president's speech for the Eid al-Maulud celebration, he said that our insecurity is declining. And of course, Nigerians went to social media to say, is this true or not? What are your thoughts on this? And he was referring to the fact that I think it was Garba Shehu that was speaking on behalf of the president, saying that we should stop saying that there's a rise in terror and attacks. That we should be talking about there's a decline. And my question, therefore, to Nigerians, is there indeed a decline? What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-270-53687, 09139076948. You can also send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be happy to read your messages. Now, let's put this in proper perspective. So, yes, they're not saying that there aren't pockets of violence here and there, but they're saying that they are winning the fight against terror. And because of this, they are seeing a decline in terror attack. But in your view, do you think there's a decline? Or do you feel that nothing is actually being done concerning insecurity?
No, we cannot say nothing is being done concerning security. But I don't think you need to tell, you can't tell me what to think or what to say based on the reality I experience is what I will say. So telling Nigerians not to say the increasing insurgency or the increasing insecurity, it has to be based on the metric. So he might have the data that Nigerians don't have. What Nigerians need is for him to give us metrics, raw data. We used to have 10 attacks within this community. We now have 1, or we have none. They have relocated to another community and we're quelling them there. There's enough of wishful, treat us as your citizens, intelligent human beings that are worried about our own lives and our own children. We are worried about our children. We're worried investors are worried about bringing in their money. Every day I try to convince people that there is peace here, or they say what they see. So I understand the fact that we need to paint the accurate picture. And most of the time, what is being projected is not an accurate picture of the challenges and the victories we have. But it is not by telling us what to say. It is by telling us with facts. This is the victory we've experienced. These are the challenges we're facing. Don't just wish it away. Give us the reality. And then we would push it.
That's pretty much it.
That's it. You have summed it up. Because this use of semantics to explain things, to sort of, is like something that we're doing right now in the world, where we want to change the name of something. So it just sounds easier, it sounds better to swallow. And we're not really facing what we need to face to change the situation. We're always looking for ways to say it so that, it's not too harsh or you don't come across as being politically incorrect. So that's what we're doing. But when it comes to insecurity, as you said, really it's the realities on ground. This also reminds me of when we're talking about, how things are supposed to be better in the economy. Our president had talked about his achievements. You remember we also had to go and sort of remind him, it may look like this on paper, but in reality, when people go to the market, the 10,000 does not buy them the same amount of food you used to buy them in the market anymore. So the reality on ground is, for those of us who sort of, would I say fortunately, are not right there in the communities where we're being attacked, we get to read the papers, we see the news, and we just read in Sokoto, 49 people killed on Sunday. And we've heard that in the last 10 days, 65 people have been killed in that community. How should that community describe insecurity? Would it use declining or increasing? So that's the thing. We need to put in perspective the realities on ground. I like what you said. So if they had come to say, in 2020, these were the numbers. In 2021, these are the numbers. So you can see with the numbers, there's a decline.
Yeah, the data.
So, when it comes to how we think, we always advise that you call those things that be not as though they were. But this is a case of insecurity, and we need to rely on the facts and the figures. What are the facts saying? What do we have on ground? What are some of the results we are getting? So I know that the military is trying its best. They've been having, counter there's this offensive. They've been carrying out offensive. We see that it's happening. But then the question we need to be asking is, the results, have we started getting the results at the people who are at the bottom, the people who are feeling it? So before you come out and say something like, say it like this and say it like that, did you feel the pulse of the people who are in the middle of this? There are a lot of villagers that are being sacked from their villages, who are finding survivors from somewhere else. They can't go to the farms. They can't go to their homes. Did you feel their pulse? Did you test them to see, has it reduced? Or are you seeing the result of what we have been doing? Can they now go back to the farms? Can they fish and everything before you tell us, don't call it, call those things that be not as though they were. The time will come for that. But the most important thing for me is that you ensure that you're doing the work and your results will speak for you. Don't worry. The people will pick up when they start seeing the results.
Okay, let me take this call from Dr. Emmanuel from Jos. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. Idem Oluk to every Nigerian.
Thank you.
Good morning.
In respect of the insecurity in Nigeria, I lived in the Northeast from 2007 to 2017. Northeast, I mean Yobe, Bauchi, Maiduguri. Now, insecurity started, Boko Haram actually started in 2009 in Bauchi, and we knew how it started. Don't forget that this thing started just like a pressure group, people against one another, and it degenerated into what we have today. I lived in Northeast, and I can tell you for free that there are still areas that are not accessible as we speak. I'm not giving you what I read on the internet. Now, don't forget that the present president at a point in time was appointed by Boko Haram to be their negotiator, and that they should negotiate when he was not president. So you do not expect to set exams for yourself and mark it yourself. You won't mark yourself down. So it's not appropriate for the president to appraise himself.
Right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, let me read specifically what the president's speech said, because he's also talking to the media houses, asking that we have to change the way we phrase this. So let me, for those of you who haven't read this article, let me read it to you. He said that the government fully expects and intends for the trends of that's the attack on the insurgency to continue, and calls on the media to address the tone, content, and standards of reporting into insecurity and safety measures. Time has come to revise the prefixes rising insecurity to declining insecurity. So it's also speaking to us that it's the way we, specifically us, that the way we talk about this issue of insurgency, our tone must change. Do you agree with him?
Okay, so let me just quickly say that I don't agree with him. And the reason I don't agree with him is because I feel that he does not understand that we are also living in the country and we're also feeling it. Like, my husband traveled to Benin and we were praying. I wanted him to just fly and come back because I just felt like, let's just shorten that time frame you are on the road, because we've had several cases, even someone we know who was on his way back from Benin and he got kidnapped. So we're also feeling it. But while I was in the US, I was going to go to a mall, and I actually tagged on Instagram that I was at that mall. And somebody come down, hey, don't go there. Oh. They just shot them there. There's shooting almost every evening in that particular mall. And then I was talking to somebody and I said, I don't live in that community. I won't even go to that area. And why? He said, because there are always random shooting at night. We don't see that in the media like that in Nigeria. The level of daily shooting and violence that takes place, random person taking a gun into the school and killing people, we don't see that much in the media because they deliberately, what we hear more are the beautiful things, a few challenges, but more beautiful things. So I can understand where Federation is coming from, which is that we are projecting more of the crisis, but they should realize that the media is no longer the media of television and radio. Media is now everybody that has a smartphone.
Even social media. Yeah. So,
there's something called social responsibility theory, which is our responsibility also as media professionals to ensure that we're not inciting violence, we're not turning the people against the government. We're trying to find that middle ground where with the fourth realm, job is to give valid information, but at the same time, we don't want to aggravate the politics.
Okay,
these are the weighty things the presidency is probably thinking about, saying we have to change our tone and content.
So if we have in the papers that 40-something people were killed here, and another 57 people were killed there, and another 77 people were killed there, how are we supposed to report it? Are we supposed to turn a blind eye and move on to other stories? I think we need to report the facts. What happens in places like America is their local television, like we have here, our local ones in Nigeria, report exactly what is happening. When I traveled, I watched their TV, and I saw them calling on their president. They were lamenting. There were some places they didn't have clean water. You know, shootings were going on. They do that. But when it comes to the international scene, they don't, yes, they project something different. So I think that is where the media comes into play. When we are going to the international scene, let us try to understand that these are some of the challenges. No, it's not about downplaying. You can't tell your enemy that you're starving now. I don't understand. You carry your shoulder. Let us try and, you know, not downplay it, so to speak, but not put our flaws out there, that we are really struggling and we are dying, except, of course, we are calling for help. So we need to understand where we are in the scheme of things.
David, I'll come to Mariam. David, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning. My name is David, calling from Ikorodu.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Yes, go ahead. You're live.
Yeah, please, I want to contribute to the program.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, the way I see this insecurity of a thing, I'm seeing it in another perspective. The perspective I'm seeing it is that, you know, the way the food insecurities are, what we are buying in the market is also a security that is not really secure. You understand? That is the way I'm seeing it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, having read that, I think what the government is trying to say, maybe, is my opinion, that you want us to balance the conversation. So, I'm hoping that you're saying, when you report that 50 people were killed, please, alongside, report that last week, the military arrested and killed, you know, insurgents or bandits. So people will understand that it's not that they've had like a whole year of just getting away with, you know, the murder and the ransacking, but that government also is doing its part to play. Recently also, I tried to pick stories when we do the newspaper review of our military, you know, when they do go on the attack, the offense, and they arrest people. I'd like to take those stories. And also because sometimes we forget that maybe they're human beings as well, they are sons and daughters. When it usually comes across, when you criticize insecurity in the country, sometimes the military feels a bit pained, like, look at the people who are losing every day at the war front. What are you saying? We're not sleeping, we're there, we're working hard, and you do not seem to appreciate that. So I tend to take those kind of stories. So I understand balance, but to lie or to say downplay it, that would be unforgivable, even for the president, even for the administration, because you need to know exactly what is happening on ground. But also for the Nigerian people, you're trying to say to them, let them also know the part that we have played in fighting this insurgency.
Okay, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing our president's speech. So he's saying that he expects collaboration, specifically from us. I wanted to be very specific. He said that they need an increased cooperation and collaboration from the citizenry, coupled with reinvigorated, dynamic, and energized police and military leadership would help the administration score more points. So they are saying that, yes, we know there are issues, but we need each and every one of us to, you know, collaborate with the government so that we can have more wins. They can have more wins.
So I agree with the collaboration. I think that, and I've said this several times, if our president does well in leading us, it is not that our Buhari succeeds, it's that Nigeria succeeds.
Yeah.
If our presidents, if the ministers work, it is not APC that has done well. It is Nigerians that will benefit from it. So I am totally I will not support anybody wishing they fail, because they have not failed, we have failed. Also, I understand his cry in saying that we should support in terms of, Mariah, we share a lot of unverified false information. There's so much forwarded. Hence, they want to start monitoring WhatsApp. Can we just take the time to Google what you want to share and confirm if it is true before you share it? So there's a current stuff going around now. Oh, this company folded, or people are owing millions of money. They posted pictures, and I'm like, one newspaper, Mariah, I got it like for like 15 people yesterday. Everybody just forwarding. I said, did you even Google this company? Did you find out if this person's, these blogs that carry this story is carrying the truth? You know? And it's not a blog that you even know. So I'm like, at the end of the day, can we as citizens take responsibility to only share what we've heard from a reputable media house or something we've verified by ourselves? Anybody can make mistakes. So let us ensure that we only push facts.
Okay, I hear you talk about. So in doing that, if government wants that sort of collaboration, then they need to be careful not to come across as if they're trying to gag the press or gag the media or stop social media. Because we have to, if it's collaborative, we need the government to also play its part. The government shouldn't always look at criticisms as an agenda of hate or to bring an administration down. People are speaking because this is what their reality is, because this is what they're going through. They're not speaking just because they want to bring down an administration. That's for politics and for politicians, and you know yourselves. So you can sort that out on a political level. But when Nigerians are speaking, it's because this is what they're going through. And when you do that, they allow the media to give you the true picture of things, to report as it is happening. And where there's a false information, where you think that someone has cooked up the story, the government should also be willing and quickly able to address that. And when Nigerians ask you a question, you must answer them with respect. That you don't know what you are talking about. There are some things that are not true. They need to know that these are people that when they demand answers, you give it to them respectfully.
So I think when it comes to the tone, it's both ways. Because what Garba Shehu should be telling us also is how the tone. Don't tell us this is how, remove this prefix. You should be appealing to us that, listen, guys, we are working hard.
Exactly.
Please, the choice of words are also important. The Nigerians would like you to please see what we're doing. This is how we like, there's a way you talk to us that we know that, okay, you are trying to help us understand where you are. Not that you're forcing us to drop this, change your tone, we need your collaboration. No, it doesn't happen like that, because we can't marry that with our realities. And for us to do that, we need to see, it's from the way you say it to us that we understand, okay, what you're doing. Because I guess that's the issue we're having with Garba Shehu speaking or sending this press release out. Let me take Perpetual. Are you still there, Perpetual?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, quickly, I just want to say something. And this current government, it is so unfortunate that they are politicizing the state of insecurity that is, smacking us in the face. How do you beat a child and now expect the child not to cry? You are flogging us here every day, killing us every day, and then you still come out to say, do not cry.
Thank you, Perpetua. But let us also look at the other side. There was a time where kidnapping was like every single day. I've really, maybe it's just me. There was a time that it was so rampant.
It hasn't come to your dwelling. That's why you're not seeing it. I received basbos around me recently. So I wouldn't say it has reduced. But because I'm following up on what the government is doing, we are constantly reading the newspapers every day. We are seeing that things are happening, but it will be better if we can feel that they are happening. Then you have the lever to say something. And one of the reasons Nigerians, are very easy to, pass messages that are not verified, because even when they bring it to the fore, the government always comes out to defend itself. The government always comes out to say, it's not so, it's not that, without proper investigation. So there's no trust in the system that if I, report this or I've noticed something happening around here, if I take it to the police or take it to security officials, that they will take time and investigate before, giving us basbos that is not them. It didn't happen to them and all of that. So instead of, taking it through the proper channel so that we can have authenticity, people now just, let's quickly pass it around before they close here, before they block here, before people are not able to hear. So we need, you need to show us more that we can trust you as a government. You need to show us. So you are doing a lot, but there's something they always say, let your good not be evil spoken of. If you show us that we can trust you, that we can ask questions like Miriam said, and you will give us an answer, then we'll understand what you're saying.
Let me go to what Garba Shehu said, because I think Miriam touched on it a bit. Because according to Garba Shehu, he said that, President, well, there is work to do. So they admit that there's still work to be done. The men and women in uniform are helping the nation to achieve this goal. and desire our collective appreciation and encouragement to do even more, which is what you said. Yeah. So it's easy for us to say, oh, they're not doing anything. But there are people on the front lines who are dying every day. So for their sake, we should be able to also recognize and collaborate with the government. Say, okay, yes, let us not make it look as if they're not doing anything at all.
Saying that we should celebrate our heroes. And that's something the media needs to do a bit more, you know, because we don't highlight those stories. And we see them. There was, after that plane, the helicopter crash, the plane crash, there are stories, we saw pictures of a young woman crying because her husband that she just got married, she lost her husband, you know, and at the end of the day, we need to profile these stories more so that we show the humane side of this war as opposed to the inefficiency of the war.
So we're now looking at a balanced conversation now. So our tone is always like insecurity is rising, but there are people, these are human beings, Nigerians who are dying on the front lines, fathers.
But don't we take these stories?
Not enough. Not enough.
So that means the papers do not capture these stories enough.
Exactly.
So whatever is captured, we take.
So we all
have to collaborate.
So we take it, but the papers themselves should take more of those stories.
Yes. So recently, we talked about the children from the
Islamic. Mariam, I'm sorry. Amina isn't holding.
Okay.
Amina, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Please, you're live. Go ahead, please. Sorry for keeping you.
Yes. Well, I believe the president has spoken to Nigerians and more specifically to the journalists. And I want to believe that we should all collaborate as citizens and understand if one is hurt, all of us are hurt. And there are people on the front line, the soldiers, the whoever that is involved, is been sacrificing for everyone else to live in peace. So we should motivate them. We should report exactly what it is. We should be very frank and truthful. Like what Mr. Emmanuel was saying some minutes ago. I am from Northeast. I am from Adamawa State. I know what it was. I know what it is. And whatever anybody will say, we are substantially in peace now than any other time has passed. So please, as the president has requested, the president has...
Thank you. You know, interesting to talk about Buhari. All our callers are always supporting, saying that they've seen the difference. So it's interesting. Go ahead,
I just also wanted to add that recently we had a number of the students who were in captivity for a long time released. That story was a tiny caption, and it went away in a few hours. So yes, I think we need to also pay attention to pushing those positive stories. You will know me now. I like to be Miss Positivity. I just want things to be well and happy and yes, and optimistic and everything. But the truth is that even for me, that I want things, I only want to see the positive side. Even for me, over a period of time now, I've sort of become jaded because I see these stories constantly. I see the parents wailing because children have once again been kidnapped from school. I'm seeing communities once again, children, women, people killed. And the stories about the offensive, the Nigerian military dreamer is really far and in between. So maybe now what government is saying to us is that these stories are more than what we see right now. We should report them more. And when we spend time to talk about the ills of the society, we should also spend time to discuss the wins of the society.
Right. So thank you very much. I think we can wrap up on that. So bottom line, we hear what the president is saying. Let us show support and collaboration and understanding, especially for those of our citizens who are on the front lines. At the same time, media should also change their tone and content and how they publish this news. We as citizens
without
also...
losing the facts.
They're not asking us to lie. Well, they can't ask us to lie because we won't lie. But the idea is that Nigeria is both ways. There are two sides of this coin. Citizens have the responsibility, and the media have the responsibility, and the government all have their own responsibilities. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, VIO will be our focus. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yay!
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.